truth in journalism, where brave men and women gave voice to the voiceless. But then the corporations bought the journalist, poisoning the news that we are fed. With those tainted sources, all we ever ate was a steady diet of status quo. This hijacked narrative hid the truth of mass suffering, injustice, and corruption throughout our land. Status quo, status quo, status quo, status quo. To expose this shift to oligarchy came a band of honest journalists. They left the studio and hit the streets to give the microphone back to the people. From sea to sea, the people were empowered to share their truth. Their voices no longer stifled, reclaimed their power. Join the media revolution now.
Hey there, Jordan Sheridan, live here. Where am I? Somewhere new today. Won't disclose where. Hope everyone's having a lovely day. I apologize that I am about an hour late today. I'm not even going to get into all the things I had to do today, but I am going to Iowa tomorrow, and I had to take care of a few things today, so apologies that I'm late. But I have been reporting and researching and trying to make contacts on the ground in Iowa. So looking forward to that. Again, we will be in Iowa for the Caucus. Handy graphic by our friend Colin Tooley. Wonderful graphics as always. So I'm looking forward to being on the ground there for the Caucus. I will also be in New Hampshire. After Iowa, so busy couple of weeks. Hey, let me take this down. Yeah, I don't like it. Oops. Anyway, so lot to discuss. There's already shenanigans going on with the Democratic Party, so we're going to get into that. The establishment meltdown that Bernie is in the lead is continuing, and of course, we need you to get the word out. So, we almost have 300 people watching. We need every single one of you. Press that like button. 300 people watching. 166 of you have pressed the thumbs up button right under the video. The more people that press that thumbs up button, the more people that will see this very live stream. So we need 300 people. Press that like button. We'll get to the text stuff later. Follow us at Status Coup on the Twitter. We are live there right now. Follow us on Twitch. We are live there right now at twitch.tv/Status Coup. And join our email list. Very, very important. Join our email list. I'm going to be in Iowa, but promise you, YouTube's not going to know. YouTube might not tell you when we're live. So email is the best way to know when we're live, to know what we're doing, all those good things. As is the text list. We are almost at 600 people on our text list. And what the text list is exactly what it sounds like. It's a way for you to get a text message from us when we go live. We don't text every time we're live because it costs us a lot of money to do that. But the more people that join our text list, you will get a text when we're live. We probably will be texting you when we're live in the field in Iowa. So looking forward to that. Exciting. So you're saying YouTube's buffering? Mine's not buffering. So the establishment is in full panic mode. Absolutely full panic mode. And it's really, really exciting to see. So if you see here, a super PAC has dropped a whole lot of money against Bernie Sanders. And as a result, Bernie Sanders supporters have come through with $1.3 million in 24 hours. So the Democratic Super PAC with, I don't know, what is it called? Something for Israel, dropped $700,000 in one day against Bernie Sanders. And Bernie Sanders supporters, in response, put in $1.3 million. So small money is actually beating big money in this case. We also have our friends at Third Way, the sleazy Wall Street funded think tank writing columns in USA Today. So, of course, these are the people we need to hear from on why Bernie Sanders would be terrible. Headline: Democrats court doom by backing Bernie Sanders. His ideas are toxic outside blue America. So I'm not going to read that piece, but it's by the people that run Third Way, which is a Wall Street funded terrible think tank. Oh, I should mention this is a super chat, so keep it coming in the super chat. We really appreciate it. Let me read some to get us started here. Thank you, Cult Fighter, $2 in the super chat. Appreciate the support. We got a whole lot of new members yesterday, which we're super excited about. We are now at 875 Status Coup members. I got to tell you something. What a world it would be if we could get to 900 members by the time I land in Iowa tomorrow. Ugh, that would be amazing. I think dreamers could dream. I would love to get more members. You could sign up as low as $5 a month. Statuscoup.com/join. Support us. And Jen sent out an email today. We're doing a specific fundraiser just for our reporting in Iowa and New Hampshire, which is not cheap. So you can become a member. And if you're already a member, you could also support us by donating to our Iowa and New Hampshire reporting fundraiser. So you have the super PAC spending that's out of control. Then you have Third Way writing opinion pieces on how terrible Bernie Sanders is and how he can't win in outside of blue America. And I tweeted this out. Earlier. But it's just astounding to me because facts don't seem to matter when it comes to the Bernie derangement syndrome. The reporters that write these stories, the editors that allow Third Way to basically print nonsense and propaganda without fact-checking them. So let me just explain to you, when Third Way says Bernie Sanders is toxic outside of blue America, then somebody has to explain how it is that Bernie Sanders in 2016, I'm just going to read you my own tweet. How is it that Bernie Sanders in 2016 won Indiana? I'd say that's outside of blue America, wouldn't you? Oklahoma, a red state. Idaho, a red state. Montana, a red state. North Dakota, a red state. Utah, red state. Kansas, red state. Nebraska, red state. Wyoming, red state. West Virginia, West state. Lost by a point or less than a point. Iowa, red state. Missouri, red state. Kentucky, red state. Colorado, purple state. Michigan, Wisconsin, was a blue state. Now it's a red state. So, it's one thing if you just are a greedy Wall Street sleazebag and you don't want Medicare for all because it would basically put the big pharmaceutical brands that you're invested in. I mean, this is why Third Way doesn't want Medicare for all, because all these Wall Street think tanks, financiers, all of them, they all have massive, we're talking hundreds of millions of dollars in investment in big pharmaceutical companies. That's why they don't want a universal health care program in this country. So I'd rather them just be honest about it than put out this ridiculous, easily disprovable nonsense about he's toxic outside of blue America. He won a whole lot of red states. Well, you could say, well, he won it in the Democratic primary. That doesn't mean he's going to win it in the general election. Well, all I know is an orange orangutan won in those red states, running on being anti-free trade, not a Republican position historically, getting out of all the wars, not a Republican position traditionally, on camera saying during the campaign, we need to provide universal health care, and several other progressive positions. Of course, Donald Trump didn't mean a word of it, but a Republican won in those red states talking quite progressively on a lot of issues. So how is it that Bernie Sanders, who, by the way, beat an incumbent Republican in Vermont to become a congressman there before he was a senator, how is it that Bernie Sanders, who, by the way, if you look through his elections in Vermont tends to do very well in rural conservative areas in Vermont, how is it that Bernie Sanders during the Iowa caucus in 2016 tended to do well in the most rural parts of Iowa and conservative areas? How is it that Bernie Sanders for years has done exceptionally well among independents? He beat Hillary Clinton in open primary states in 2016. So the facts are the facts, but they're trying to create, what does Kellyanne Conway say? Alternative facts. Oh, he's going to be toxic outside of blue America. I got news for you. As Status Coup has told you over and over again, there's a whole lot of Republicans who actually, policy by policy, are closet progressives. And you just got to speak their language. There's a whole lot of Republicans that like Bernie Sanders. There's a whole lot of independents. So basically, they have nothing else. Welcome new Status Coup member, Chris. Woo-hoo! 876 Status Coup members. Reminder, folks, I'm headed to Iowa tomorrow. I would love that this plane is going to land, I'm hoping, with more members with me. Statuscoup.com/join. Become a member for as low as $5 a month. By the way, had such a fun time last night on the members call. Jen and I had a members call. We got another one coming up in February. I hope for those of you that joined, had a great time. Let's read some super chats too. Love all the super chats coming in. Richard Williams, $4.99. Slow 700, fast 800s, and hopefully even faster to 1,000 subs. From your lips, if there's a God's ears. Hangry Skywalker, $2. Dems are idiots. Sanders brings independence. That's what I'm saying. Even you know it. They seem to not understand how this works. Citrus 1976, $2. I dare the DNC to cheat us. It will be the last. Ooh. Colt Fighter, $5. Appreciate it. Oh, Pia Colusi, $40. Thank you so much. I love that name too. So pretty. Thank you, Pia, for the $40. It's very generous of you. Keep it coming in the super chat. So PJ Coin, 12 euros. It seems nuts to me, but does America not want to win the election with Bernie? Get to 900 for Bernie? Let's get to 900 members for Status Coup. Bernie will be happy too. No, America, let me answer your question, PJ. America is the United Corporations of America. So as such, no, they don't want Bernie Sanders to win. They would gladly have 4 more years of Donald Trump. Hell, another 8 years of Donald Trump. You know, why is my brother calling me while I'm live? It's unbelievable. Hold on. They'd rather Trump and the fascism that they're screaming about than let somebody who represents working people within an inch of the White House. Not gonna. They are kicking and screaming, and we see they are not pleased. They are not pleased at all. So then we've already gone through Third Way writing these hit pieces, not steeped in fact. We have a super PAC that just dropped $700,000. That's just one super PAC. That's not Joe Biden's super PAC. Because middle class Joe, Union Man Joe, he's got his own super PAC that's dropping money for him. And he pretends, well, I don't know anything about the super PAC. I didn't approve this. Yeah. Then you have our friend Jennifer Rubin from the Washington Post, who, let me tell you something. Give it up for Jennifer Rubin. She takes the cake. She wins the award this go around for Bernie derangement syndrome. I have seen at least 30 columns from Jennifer Rubin, just dating back to the beginning of 2019, just destroying Bernie Sanders. What did Bernie ever do to you, Jennifer Rubin? And of course, this is what they're trying to do. Now they're trying to equate Bernie Sanders with Trump. They're trying to equate Bernie Sanders with Trump. So they write pieces like, oh, the Trump-like Bernie campaign. And what's so incredible about this is, I think I invented it last night. Hopefully nobody steals it. But this reverse psychology snowflakeism that's permeating, the New York Times does a whole, however long that ridiculous story was. I didn't read the whole thing. Oh my God, Bernie Sanders supporters are so mean online. People, members of the Democratic Party establishment are very concerned because people are writing mean things in their mentions. And oh God, really what this is about is the oligarchy, the corporate Democratic establishment for the last 40 years has gone unchallenged. And they like it that way. They don't want to be challenged. So they continue to basically pretend that they're victims because the people on the bottom end of this, the people on the bottom end of that, the people on the bottom end of this, that are having their money, having their futures stolen from them for the last 40 years, are finally fighting back. And yeah, sometimes it shows up kind of fierce in your Twitter. Get over it. Get over it. You have not, these people that are crying out in concern and such concern about the civility on Twitter, on social media, I don't hear them screaming about people working 3 jobs. I don't hear them worried and screaming about, how vicious it is that people all over America are rationing their insulin. I don't hear them screaming about the planet on fire. I don't hear them screaming about people choosing to stay home, then go to a doctor, and then getting cancer and dying because they didn't catch it in time, but they didn't go because they can't afford it. So these people are so worried about the Bernie bros, even though he's got the most diverse coalition, including more women, by the way, in Bernie's coalition. They're so worried about people being mean to them online, not particularly worried about, people dying in the streets. So that's just a few. I don't need to read any more. There's like 25 new pieces an hour right now. But there's also something that I don't think has gotten much coverage. And again, smash that like button. We got 550 people watching. 330 of you have pressed the like button. It's a thumbs up button right under the video. The more people that press the like button, the more people that will see this very live stream. But there's also something going on that I find very concerning, to say the least. And I'll be looking into this more when I go to Iowa tomorrow. Apparently, in Iowa and Nevada, they're using an app. They're using an app to transmit results caucus by caucus. With less than 2 weeks until Iowans line up to cast the first votes to pick a Democratic presidential nominee, party officials are reassuring voters that a new app used to report its caucus votes is secure. It's not clear if they are correct. The app will be used in the key caucus states of Iowa and Nevada by caucus managers, local registered Democrats who sign up to organize and run the process in each precinct. To expedite the process, calculate and assign delegates, and report results back quickly. The app will also be used in satellite voting locations across the country. What could go wrong, right? But questions about the app remain unanswered, including who developed it and whether it has been subject to independent security testing. Security experts say that the app is a potential target for early election interference, particularly since it is downloaded on to the personal phones of caucus managers. Oh my God. Party officials say operational security prevents them from disclosing specifics about the app. Oh my Lord. This is like basically the United States government, essentially since killing John F. Kennedy. Jen, if you're watching, knows all about this. She's addicted to the JFK conspiracy theories. But they just classify what they want to hide and then say, well, we can't unclassify it. We can't reveal that information. Sources and methods. It will give the enemy, a leg up. So we can't reveal the information. This is the same exact thing. We can't tell you who's developing the app because for security purposes. So I'm going to be honest with you. I've been running around like a dog all day. Jen has looked into this extensively. So let's get Jen, the co-founder of Status Coup, on the phone. We are working on figuring out how to do this live so we could have her on video. But for today, we'll have her on the phone. Let me call her.
Hey there.
Why, hello there. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Very good. Before we get to your research on this, and remember, folks, smash that like button, super chat. We really appreciate it. Keep it coming. I just want to let you know, Jen, I'm going to Iowa tomorrow, so I made a call.
Yeah.
I made a call, and I spoke with an activist on the ground there who's kind of in the know, volunteer on Bernie's campaign, has been kind of feeding me information the last few weeks. So even though I'm not there, I'm in the know. Well, he said just last night, they did a test run, like a test caucus. Obviously not a real one, but he said among the several people there, not the app did not work for any of them.
Wow.
5 days. 5 days before Iowa, the app that the Democratic, not the DNC, but the local state party of Iowa is using to transmit results was not working for, I believe, a couple dozen people who were in attendance last night. So could you break down for the audience, for dummies, why are they using this app? Is it the first time they're using this app? And what are the red flags you're seeing in your research and reporting with this app?
Sure. So as Jordan mentioned, we're going to get more into this, especially when he's on the ground. What I can tell you about this app so far is that it is brand new. To kind of back up a little bit in the past.
Jen, I'm sorry.
Yes. What?
I would never interrupt you. You know that.
Oh my gosh.
But
Never. It's never happened.
Welcome new Status Coup member, George. We are now at 877 Status Coup members. That is the only time I would ever interrupt you. George, welcome to the Media Revolution.
George, welcome.
Statuscoup.com/join. Keep signing up, folks. Your funding is how we're going to cover Iowa, New Hampshire, and judging on how the polls are right now, many other states. Continue, Jen.
Well, before I continue, I do want to say every membership absolutely helps. As we've mentioned, Jordan is going to be on the ground in Iowa. It is very costly to send a reporter and a cameraman. So please become a member. As low as $5 a month, you get tons of cool stuff. Jordan's going to be uploading or sending me to upload a lot of behind-the-scenes reporting too. So statuscoup.com/join. Okay, so now about this app.
And speak loudly.
Speak loudly. Okay, I'll try. So Iowa, obviously, with the caucuses, what they have are precinct captains. So in the past, the precinct captains would make phone calls, and it would involve a lot of complicated math. They would make phone calls to call into the state party to report results from that precinct. So that's kind of how it worked before. In 2016, however, Microsoft developed an app that they used, and reportedly 95% of precincts actually reported their results through this app, and it worked a lot faster. They were able to report results within 4 hours, so it kind of sped things up. So in 2016, they actually announced this kind of partnership and this app with Microsoft well in advance. So it was pretty transparent. The security was kind of transparent, as much as it could be. The developer, again, Microsoft, was transparent. So they used that, and I need to dig into this more, but Bernie's campaign actually expressed some concerns about that back then in 2016. But that's what they used. That's how things went in 2016. Obviously, we know, and I believe that Bernie actually won Iowa, but that's a story for another day. Now, here we are in 2020. They have announced that Iowa, and actually Nevada as well, they're using a new mobile app. This time, they have not announced who the developer is, who the vendor is at all. They have not announced the security protocols or vendors surrounding that either. So it is not transparent this time at all. This app is not used for voting. So again, this is a caucus. So the precinct captains will download this app to their personal phones. You might be watching this on your phone right now. These precinct captains, these Democratic Party activists is essentially what they are downloading this new app, which we do not know who the vendor is. We don't know who has made this. We don't know who is in charge of the security surrounding this app. They're downloading it to their personal phones. So the party precincts, or the precinct captains, will use this app that they've downloaded to report the results kind of in real time from the Caucus sites. And Jordan just reported that they're kind of testing this app right now. It was previously reported through the AP and others that the app was not going to be sent to precinct chairs until just before the caucus. So it seems like that has started to happen now. But before that, there's no real testing done at these sites or by these precinct chairs. So they enter the data into this app, send it to the state headquarters. The data is then used to announce the unofficial winners of the caucus. The official, in quote, winners are not announced or fully certified until they're done through paper records. But really, as we all know, once the data starts to come in, that's really the ball game there. So this information is used to eliminate candidates along the way and all that. We'll get in later reporting, we'll get into the full kind of caucus scenario because it does get very confusing and we all need a refresher every election season. So the Democratic Party officials say that they're taking security precautions. We don't know exactly what they are, but they assure us that there are backups and that if there are any errors, that they basically say, oh yeah, we're on top of this. We've got this no matter what happens. They've also, these Iowa party officials say they have worked with a technical team at the national level of the DNC to vet developers and design security protocols.
Oh, so they've worked with the DNC. I feel better about this.
Yes, right? Don't you feel better already? It gets better and better. So they've also conducted some app simulations and training ahead of time. Again, not with the actual people who are going to be using this app, but with Iowa officials to kind of get a feel for things beforehand. And they've done this through the Belfer Center at the Harvard Kennedy School of Government. This will become important in a bit. So remember that, the Belfer Center at the Harvard Kennedy School of Government. So they're doing app simulations and training. This is what they did beforehand. They actually did not specify that we're doing these simulations and training with this specific app. They said with an app. So that's really unclear reporting there from these officials. Several people have spoken out that are election security experts, cybersecurity, digital security experts. They've spoken out against this app because nobody knows anything about it. Nobody knows who the vendor is, who the developers are, and anything could happen. There could be malware on personal phones. There could be, spying software or something, anything like that on these personal phones. There could be malware on the servers where this app is stored for download. Hackers could enter in at any time, and even if no hackers get in or are able to penetrate these systems, there could be an issue of system overload. So there could be glitches.
So I want to just clarify it for the audience because I see a few comments. This app is not for actual voters to select their candidate. It's for communicating to the state party the results. So
yes, exactly.
But somebody said, oh, so it's only for communications. Well, yes and no. Technically, it's to communicate the results, but it really opens up the possibility of the results being hacked, the results being altered, if not hacked. And frankly, to me, I always start with common sense, right? If Microsoft did it in 2016, I'm not a big fan of Bill Gates for a lot of reasons, but you would think Microsoft knows how to do the tech thing. Why did they switch to another company, but they won't tell us who the company was? So if there were these...
to be clear, it could still be Microsoft. We just don't know. I think it's probably not still them.
Well, if it was still Microsoft, there wouldn't be any news articles about it. There wouldn't be any hubbubaloo about it. They would just do it behind the scenes like they did in 2016. They wouldn't have to make announcements. Am I wrong?
Well, I think people would still want to know, did Microsoft develop this new app? So I think that's neither here nor there. We just don't know who did it.
And to me, the biggest issue here is, number one, there's no accountability. So even if you want to give them the benefit of the doubt and say, all right, it's not, Hillary Clinton in her basement with her private server controlling this, Just saying. We don't know who the developer is. We don't know who the developer's funding comes from. We don't know if the developer of this app has has done other services or products for the Democratic Party, for certain candidates. We don't know if the developer of this app is part of NGP Van, who has basically a monopoly on voter files and voting systems around this country. I'm not trying to be a conspiracy theorist, but the bottom line is there is no transparency on who is developing this app in Iowa and Nevada. It's Nevada also. So
Yeah.
what? And when the Democratic Party of Iowa, when asked, won't explain who it is, and they say, well, we don't want to say who because it could give hackers or this and that a leg up to look into that company or developers, the way they do things. I mean, that just doesn't pass the smell test to me. I mean,
No.
hackers don't particularly need to know who the developer is to figure out how to hack it. Am I wrong?
No, I think you're absolutely right. I think, in their eyes, in the eyes of the DNC, who is overseeing this, or at least coordinating with this, and then the Iowa Democratic Party state officials, they seem to think that this is a plausible explanation or reason. I agree that it does not pass the smell test at all, and also, and experts agree as well. There are election security experts who are up in arms over this, just out of fear that anything could go wrong, that this could really mess with the results. And again, it is not used for voting because that's not how caucuses work, but it is used for reporting the results, and the results are an important part of the process in figuring out which candidates are eliminated and all that. So it's really concerning. There is more to this. So you'll remember that I mentioned the Belfer Center at the Harvard Kennedy School of Government. So in 2017, they developed what's called the Defending Digital Democracy Project. And you'll be glad to know, audience, that Robbie Mook, Hillary Clinton's former campaign manager, is one of the heavy hitters, one of the high-ups here at this Defending Digital Democracy Project. So DDD, we'll call it, was part of running app simulations and training with Iowa officials related to this app. So there is a Robbie Mook connection, which a lot of people online are starting to run with, and kind of, I want to make it clear, we're not saying, we are not reporting, like some people are out there, that Robbie Mook is the developer of this app. Some people out on Twitter and internet land are saying, oh, Robbie Mook developed this app, it's all corrupt. That's not what we're saying at all. We're not alleging any wrongdoing, nothing like that. We are simply saying...
Jen, stop being such a responsible journalist.
Yeah, right. We're simply saying that Robbie Mook, Hillary Clinton's former campaign manager, is as at the helm of an organization that is working with this, the Iowa party officials.
I think you kind of buried. I think you buried the lead, though.
Did I?
If memory serves me correct, wasn't Robbie Mook in partnership with Bill Kristol behind this Defending Digital Democracy group?
I don't know. So there's two parts to this. There's Defending Digital Democracy Project, and then there's Defending Digital Campaigns, which is the nonprofit arm of Defending Digital Democracy. So it gets kind of in the weeds, and I actually think in some cases, I'm not saying in this case, that these nonprofit arms are formed, and it becomes a spider web of trying to figure out who is involved with what and where the money's going. Defending Digital Campaigns actually has an FEC, I don't know if you would call it an exemption, but campaigns are essentially allowed to use this nonprofit for election security purposes for free. So there's a lot going on there that's kind of a segue that we may or may not get into later, depending on where our reporting takes us. But for now, for the purposes of what we're talking about right now, Robbie Mook was apparently, a part of the testing for this app, or at least testing for something like this app. It also, this.
And by the way, not so long ago, Robbie Mook was a CNN contributor. Should throw that out there.
He's had his hands in a lot of things. He's definitely not a guy that I would trust in particular. But this project also, I should also say, it is bipartisan. This group, it also has Mitt Romney's former campaign manager, and at the very, very top, and actually the guy who recruited Robbie Mook for this is Eric Rosenbach, who was the chief staff of security of defense to Secretary of Defense Ash Carter, and served as the Pentagon cyber czar. So a lot of high-up people involved in this, and it doesn't end there, really. So Robbie Mook is involved, as we've just gone over, but also we have Facebook, Google. Let's see, who else? Yeah, Facebook, Google, the Department of Homeland Security, the Shorenstein Center. So a lot of high-up groups are involved in the technology surrounding this. A lot of Facebook, Facebook, who's just recruited a former Fox digital producer for their new news tab. They seem to be more and more right-wing these days, so they're on board. A lot of interesting groups and companies and people are on board with this defending digital democracy project, which is related to this new Iowa Caucuses app.
Well, I just want to interrupt you because we got 2 more members, so we are now at 879. 879 Status Coup members.
That's amazing.
Welcome. We have Richard just joined. Laura just joined. So 800.
Richard and Laura, welcome!
879. Can we get to 8?
So
One more to 880. Sorry, go ahead.
No, yeah, I know we just threw a lot of information out at you, but the idea, or the basic gist of this is nobody knows what the heck is going on with this app. And Iowa, I feel, based on the information that we have, I feel is stolen from Bernie last time. So, like you mentioned, Jordan, I don't remember if it was on the members call or in your reporting yesterday, but as Greg Pellis said, Bernie, if he's going to win, has to win by a much larger margin due to some of these shenanigans, potentially.
Right. Absolutely. Well, I will be able to tell you a lot more once I'm on the ground, so we will see. And obviously you'll look into it more. Thank you, Jennifer, for the reporting.
Before I hang up, I want to remind people, Jordan is going to be on the ground in Iowa. And as you guys know of Jordan, he hits the ground running. He works constantly when he's in the field, developing sources and chasing things and checking, social media to see what's going down. It takes a lot of energy. It takes a lot of cash. We are a startup, so if you are able to contribute anything at all to help fund this reporting, I have a feeling, this is not a journalistic thing, but I have a feeling that this is going to be epic and important, and there's going to be a shift in the political landscape. So please become a member. statuscoup.com/join for as low as $5 a month. $5 isn't much, but it makes a huge difference to us. You can also, if you're already a member, or if you'd rather contribute this way, go to paypal.me/statuscoup, and you can contribute any amount. There's it starts off with a clear box, and you can enter any amount you're comfortable with. And we also still have our GoFundMe open. You can go to gofundme.com/status-coup-news. It can contribute any amount there as well. Whatever you're comfortable with, it all helps so much. We have flights and food and hotels, and we're very frugal as possible, but it does take a lot of cash. And I think I know this is going to be some epic reporting, and I think Iowa is truly going to be a benchmark of this political season. It's going to be incredible. So please help out if you can.
I agree. Thanks, Jen.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye. So excited for the new members. I'll read your super chats in a minute. So thank you. I just want to give you a little update so people don't ask me when I'm there. Unfortunately, Marcus is leaving Iowa. I'm not going to get so into it because it's his personal business. But as he shared on social media today, he's dealing with some things in his life, like we all do. And Jen and I support him 100%. But at the moment, he had to go tend to personal matters. His decision, we support him. The original plan was for he and I, to kind of tag team it, but he unfortunately has some, just issues that a lot of people have, and he's going to pay attention to that right now. Go stay with a family member. He obviously, I spoke with him. He consented on me discussing this. So if you want more information, you could definitely go to his Twitter at Marcus Ely. Jen put in the link if you don't mind to see, he explained it on his Twitter. But, unfortunately, reporters are human beings too. So we all have our stuff, whether it's with friends, loved ones, physical health, mental health. I could tell you I've been on the road over the years dealing with my own set of issues, whether it was a physical problem in my back that I required surgery for, or being, having depression on the road. So, we definitely appreciate the great work he's done over the last few weeks there. And, Jen and I are both in contact with Marcus. So hopefully, and I know that he would appreciate any, supportive messages. So check out his Twitter. You could go to his, I think it's, a couple hours ago, he tweeted explaining what's going on with him, and show him some love if you don't mind. So, and I'm sure this is not the last time we'll see Marcus here. So, and from awkward transition, but welcome new Status Coup member, David Hernandez.
David!
Woo!
Revolution!
880 Status Coup members. Can we keep going here? Keep going. Andy P, $5. Hearts, wishing Marcus the best. Thank you. We'll send that to him. Let me see what other super chats I missed here. Jen, I don't know if you... Rocket 6923, $5. Don't know if you've already talked about this, but can you look into the latest Project Veritas smear of Bernie? I saw that, Project Veritas. Is this the one where they found, like, somebody low level on Bernie's campaign who, like, said, bad, very bad things are coming if they screw us? Like, so what? It's one person. I don't really take a lot of stock into what's his name behind that. The hell is the guy's name behind Project Veritas, who's distorted all sorts of videos in the past? I forget. But yeah, I don't care what Project Veritas is putting out there. When Project Veritas has Bernie on hot tape saying, like, damn the proletariat, I'm hoodwinking all of them, then I'll cover it. How about that? Thank you, Rob K, $50 in the super chat. Expose the bastards. We're trying. Thank you so much, Rob. Very generous donation. Keep it coming in the super chat and keep on signing up, please. Statuscoup.com/join. Statuscoup.com/join. So I got a couple more things. I'm not going to be on that much longer because I have to go pack and I have a very early flight. So I got to get some sleep. But I want to get into some latest polls, that if I were the Democratic Party establishment, I would be full on having a freaking seizure. I would be having a seizure if I'm the Democratic Party right now. So first of all, like I said earlier, Bernie's campaign raised $1.3 million in 24 hours after a super PAC dropped $700,000. This is kind of unprecedented. Like, I think people have gotten kind of taken for granted how hard it is to raise small dollar money. Raising $1.3 million in a day from small dollar donations is incredible. Not just for Bernie Sanders, anyone who is able to do that. So when Bernie's supporters are responding to the super PAC attacks with more money than the actual plutocrats funding the super PACs, That spells a lot. That spells big trouble. Welcome, new Status Coup member, Jorge.
Welcome, Jorge.
Wow. We are now at 881 Status Coup members. Can we keep going? I'd love to get that up to 900 before I land in Iowa. So then you have statuscoup.com/join. Keep it coming, hot and heavy. So then you have new polls that have come out today in Iowa. Excuse me. Here is Monmouth, who has been the worst poll of any of the polls. Monmouth has been the worst poll for Bernie Sanders. He always performs the worst in Monmouth polls. That's within the margin of error in Iowa, according to Monmouth. And by the way, Monmouth, part of why it's been so bad for Bernie in Monmouth in particular is Monmouth is one of these polls that wildly oversamples older voters and undersamples younger voters. Bernie Sanders up 3 in Monmouth, down 2 to Biden, which is within the margin of error. That is bad news bears if you're Joe Biden. It's even worse for Buttigieg, the fact that he's down at 16. Another poll that if I was a plutocrat trying to hold on for dear life to my money, Bernie Sanders is up 13 points in Texas. Let that sink in, that visual. This is Texas Lycum poll. He's up 13 points since the last time this poll went out in September. Biden down 4. Warren down 2. Bloomberg wasn't part of the poll in September. He's at 9. Bernie's within the margin of error in Texas, which, by the way, has a very, very big Latino population. Bernie Sanders is right now tied with Joe Biden among Latinos. He's crushing Biden among millennial Latinos. But overall, all ages Latinos, him and Biden are pretty much tied. Another Texas poll has Biden up a little bit more, but still, Bernie down by 6. I want to show you Texas in 2016, the results, to show you what a big deal this is. Hillary Clinton beat Bernie Sanders 65% to 33%. She won by 32 points in Texas. That's why Hillary Clinton, in addition to the rigging and the theft of the election, that's why Hillary Clinton won the nomination. She cleaned up in the South in the early part of the electorate, in the early part of the primary in 2016. And the South had so many delegates that it was very difficult for Bernie Sanders to come back. You're talking Arkansas, Mississippi, Alabama, Texas, and many other southern states, South Carolina, obviously. Well, if Bernie Sanders even loses by 6 points in Texas, Joe Biden needs to clean up in these states in terms of delegates. He has to run up the margins like Hillary Clinton did in 2016. But if Bernie Sanders in Texas is within, in this poll, 2 points, in this poll, 6 points, the difference in delegates is going to be so negligible. If you're Joe Biden, you're not going to get enough additional delegates than Bernie Sanders to be up enough to really put Bernie Sanders away. And why I think you're starting to see states that most people do not generally associate with going towards a progressive, we're talking about Texas, is the politics is a domino effect. So you see Bernie Sanders surging in Iowa. That surge in Iowa has correlated with New Hampshire. New Hampshire, you see Bernie going up in Nevada as well. Well, Nevada and Texas are similar voting demographics. Obviously Texas is a much more conservative state than Nevada. But the point is, they have a lot of Latinos in Nevada, and they have a lot of Latinos in Texas. They actually have more Latinos in Texas than Nevada because Texas is a much bigger state population-wise than Nevada. So potentially, obviously the Democratic Party is trying to make sure this does not happen. But there is a scenario, follow me for a second, there is a scenario where Bernie Sanders could win Iowa. He could then win New Hampshire by, right now it looks like Bernie Sanders, if it were held today, would win New Hampshire by minimum 4 to 5 points. which in a field with this many candidates, 4 to 5 points is kind of like a blowout when you have 5 or 6 candidates, right? If he wins Iowa, if he wins New Hampshire, he's heading into Nevada with a lot of momentum. If he wins Nevada, well, as Bernie has gone up in Nevada, he has also gone up in Texas because, like I just said, the demographics of the two states are very, very similar. So Bernie Sanders does not need to win the state of Texas. He doesn't need to come in first place. But again, on the actual math, the actual math, Joe Biden has to win these states, South Carolina, Texas. He needs to win them not only just for optics, but he needs to win them by a sizable amount, or he's not going to get enough delegates to really run away with the nomination. So as great as it would be if you're a progressive for Bernie to actually win a state like Texas, again, it's basically a win for Bernie if he comes within 5 or 6 points in Texas, because it will stop Biden from running away in terms of the delegates. So this is definitely something we need to watch. And these polls that come out favorably for Bernie today come also based on the same time as some of the polls I showed you yesterday. Another poll that has tended not to be good for Bernie this entire campaign season has been Quinnipiac. Well, he's down nationally in Quinnipiac 5 now, which is the best he's done in a Quinnipiac poll. So tell you what, he's got the momentum right now. And honestly, the only way that Bernie Sanders is going to be stopped, I personally don't think flooding the airwaves 5 to 6 days before Iowa, like Biden's super PAC flooding the airwaves, this Israel group flooding the airwaves, I don't think that's going to make a big difference 5 or 6 days before the Iowa caucus. If you wanted to, just torpedo the airwaves, the time to do that was like 2 to 3 weeks ago. I don't know how much of an effect that has 5 to 6 days before, because you got to know, if you live in these states, people are at this point tuning out the ads. They can't even watch television without hearing from Michael Bloomberg 200 times, Tom Steyer 200 times, Biden, Bernie. At this point, people's minds, it's not all of their minds are made up, because obviously a lot of the polling shows there's a lot of people still undecided, subject to change, whatever. But I don't think ads have as much of an effect days before a caucus than they do weeks or months before. So I think the only way they're going to stop Bernie Sanders right now is 2 things. If within 3 or 4 days something really salacious comes out that they're sitting on, I don't see that happening because he's been in public life for 40 years. I've said, I expect they'll probably start with the communist stuff, or, that he said nice things about Fidel Castro and the Soviet Union. There might be that. Again, I don't see that having a major effect, but we'll see. But what I do think could potentially affect things is what Jen and I were talking about earlier. If there's shenanigans, because to be clear, if you're confused by the app is not like exit polls. I saw somebody talk about that. The app is not an app that shows exit polls. The app takes the results caucus by caucus and sends those results to the state party. So in the past, people, the results were phoned in. Caucus leaders would call the state party and give them the results caucus by caucus. This is basically replacing that. So the results will be uploaded to the app for the state party to bring in the results and see who wins. So it's not an exit poll. It's literally the results. An exit poll is, kind of a categorized explanation. What were the top issues, voter to voter? So that is not what this is. This is basically the communication of the results, which could be hacked, which could be altered. And like Jen said, when people are having to download it on their personal phones, that does not seem so safe. And by the way, just to be clear, because I'm seeing a couple messages and I want to be abundantly clear here. Marcus has decided himself. This is not status quo getting rid of Marcus. I want to make sure people understand this. Marcus is having some issues, which he disclosed on his Twitter. I spoke with him. He gave me consent to talk about it. He's having some issues, like we all do, and has decided that right now he can't report right now in Iowa. He has to focus on himself and paying attention to his issues. So I just want to make sure people understand, like, we're not getting rid of Marcus. Marcus is dealing with some personal things, and I want to respect him. I don't want to get into his personal business live on the internet. So I just want to make sure people know, like, Jen and I did not make Marcus go home. Marcus communicated to us that he's going to go stay with family right now while he deals with an issue. So I just want you to know that. I mean, we just made a graphic the other day. The plan was for me to join Marcus in Iowa, but things happen behind the scenes that you don't need to know about, and he communicated to us that he needs to go tend to his issues. So before you guys get into a whole conspiratorial thing, and I mean, if you want, you could read his tweet. He shared more of the details of why he's decided to, go get some help. So for those of you who think like we're kicking him to the curb and we're not helping him, like Jen and I have expressed to Marcus that we're here for him, and whatever he needs from us, we'll try to help him with. So just want to make sure you guys know that it's not like, especially when you're in the field on a campaign trail, even if you don't have any personal issues at that time, it's extremely, extremely stressful. I mean, literally, when in Iowa and New Hampshire, I hope to get 5 hours of sleep if I'm lucky. These are long days. It's a lot of driving. You're going rally to rally, interviews to interviews. So when you put on top of that, if you're having an issue, and I'm not going to read his tweet, it's his personal business, but he tweeted out the things that he's been dealing with. The bottom line is, let's say you're an athlete. If you break your leg, you can't play in a football game, right? Well, mental health is no different than physical health. So if you're having mental health issues, which a lot of us have, including me, it makes it difficult sometimes to function in a job. So he communicated that to us, and we said, of course, your health is number one. So just want to be clear, there's nothing terrible going on, and we support Marcus. And like I said, I think Jen put it in there. Definitely show him support on his Twitter. He tweeted out details of what's going on with him and all that. So thank you, John Coyne, $50. Thank you, John. Couple bucks for the road. Thanks for doing real journalism. Thanks for funding real journalism. We really appreciate it. Poopy Cakes, £5. Good luck for your trip, Jordan. Will you also be going live on Twitch from Iowa? I don't know if we'll be live on Twitch. We will be live on YouTube. I believe we'll be live on Periscope too. And by the way, as a reminder, folks, do not rely on YouTube to notify you when we are live. If you are relying on YouTube to notify you, it is like a black person relying on the police to show up on time in an emergency. Do not rely on that. Join our text list. It doesn't cost you anything. Text 474747. Type in COUP, Coup, and you'll get an alert that you've been added to our text list.
New member Ida.
So please sign up. Statuscoup.com. Text 474747. Enter COUP for the results. To join our text list. Also, sign up for our email list. Statuscoup.com. Get on our email list because we will be emailing out when we're live in Iowa too. So you might see more emails from us than you usually do, but I'd rather spam you with emails than not. Why are you saying OMG, Jordan? What did I do? I got to read a couple new members. Welcome, new Status Coup member, Ida. All right. Thank you, new member Ida. Really, really appreciate it. We are now at, let me get the official count here. Holy cow. Growing like a storm. 881. 881 Status Coup members. Holy cow. Ida. Love it. Keep it coming. statuscoup.com/join. Become a member for as low as $5 a month. This is what's funding us. This is what's helping us grow. This will eventually help us hire a new reporter. We also need to get some additional marketing, social media, email marketing, website. We need a whole lot more additional help. Right now it's just Jen, myself, and Jen and myself working way too much. So keep signing up, statuscoup.com/join. By the way, we're not just stopping at Iowa. I'm going to New Hampshire after that. And if we have the funding, South Carolina as well, possibly Nevada, we'll see. So keep signing up, join, okay, did I miss any super chats? All right, so I'm going to just take a few questions, comments, concerns to close this out. I'm going to be live. I'm going to end a little earlier today because I have to pack. I have to go get some clothes. And I have to sleep because I have a very early flight. So, am I missing anything? Did I miss any super chats, Jen? Jen, what are you saying, OMG? What did I do? I didn't do anything. No, I didn't miss any super chats. Oh, and again, like Jen said, in addition to membership, Kelly Elaine, thank you so much, donated $200 towards our fundraiser for this trip. So we do have a fundraiser just for our Iowa reporting. So I'll put the link in there. Thank you, Kelly. Always supporting us. We really appreciate it, Kelly. It's paypal.me. Is that it, Jen? Paypal.me. If you want to donate directly to our PayPal. Any amounts are there. So, Jordan, do you remember Debbie, the sane progressive? And the great reporting she did on the DNC and Hillary tinkering with ballots and discouraging voters in 2016? I do remember Debbie. I haven't seen her in a while, but I remember what she did in 2016. Jay Stone, just send Marcus home for Nevada coverage. I don't think you guys are grasping it. I'm trying to explain to you. This is not Jen and my decision. Marcus himself is deciding to pause from reporting and go stay with family. I'm not trying to be like condescending, but like Marcus communicated to us that he needs to go. So I can't tell Marcus, no, you go home to Nevada and report for us. It's up to Marcus. He's getting help. So it's not like us deciding to send him home. He's choosing to go get help. That's it. Jordan needs his rest. Got to be ready for the crazy in the field. This is correct. My friend from Denmark sent $100 to a friend in New York to buy herself a gift and gave her advice to donate some money to the Sanders campaign. Oh, I would like a gift from Denmark. Take good care of yourself, Jordan. Hope your back has been getting better. My back is doing well. It's my neck. I got a little pinched nerve in my neck, but hopefully that gets better. Thanks for all the great work and excellent reporting, Status Coup. So grateful. Thank you for the kind comment. Kelly Elaine, thanks. Where did you go? Thanks for heading to Iowa and New Hampshire. Thanks for funding us to do it. I can't do it without you. 2 more members to get to 10 for today. Woo! Can we get 2 more of you? statuscoup.com/join. statuscoup.com/join. Do you believe the actual votes will be counted? You know what? I believe this is different than 2016, not in terms of the Democratic Party trying to rig it, but I think Bernie Sanders' campaign is different. And I think if they try any shenanigans, Bernie Sanders is not going to roll over and just move on to the next state like he did in 2016. He also has a very, very, I don't want to say well-oiled machine because obviously he wants to get to, renewable energy and all that. He's got a really, really well-organized professional campaign. 2016, I mean, they were outstaffed, outstaffed. They had way less money than Hillary's campaign. They just didn't have the staff, didn't have the resources, didn't have the lawyers, frankly, to do anything about, all the shenanigans that went on, particularly in the early states. They do this time. And if you haven't noticed, he's got staff this time that are publicly ready to fight and are not shy about fighting the Democratic Party establishment. So I do not think it's going to be so easy for them to rig it. And as Nina Turner said to me during our interview, which if you didn't see, wow, the New York Times picked it up, The Hill picked it up, a bunch of other outlets picked it up. Nina Turner said to me earlier in the week, if the DNC and the Democratic Party think they are going to get away with what they got away with in 2016 this go around, they got another thing coming. So I do not think so. Jordan needs a ring dinger adjustment. I don't know what that means, but okay. Meshab VB, hashtag jump fences Jordan. Meshab, don't even bring that up. I'm not ever jumping a fence again. That put me back at least 4 months. You could ask my girlfriend. This was the beginning of our relationship, and I literally was like a 90-year-old man gimping around. God save her for having the good grace to stick with me in those early days. I'm starting Pilates soon, too, so that should be exciting. Nina hinted the shenanigans ain't going to fly this time. She didn't hint it. She screamed it. Bernie had mad cash last time also. He had mad cash, but he wasn't raising $34 million in 3 months like he is this time. He didn't get to 5 million donations this quickly. And more importantly, he didn't have as much staff in the early states. His campaign started taking off. He was able to hire more staff. But in Iowa and New Hampshire in specific, in 2016, he did not have the structure and just number of bodies that he has this time. For sure. What will be, will be. Hashtag Joe Biden senile. No jumping fences. No jumping fences. No. Every time we get a new member, an angel gets its wings. I agree. You are just so smart. So smart. And give it up for Jen, by the way, who's been working 7 days a week. Long days, fixing up our website, fixing up our members page, email marketing, fighting with YouTube. Don't even get me started on what YouTube is doing right now to us. They are literally demonetizing our ads, claiming we can't purchase ads to boost our videos because we're trying to advertise in the European Union. We're not trying to advertise in the European Union. Next, they're going to tell me we're trying to advertise in the North Pole. It's just beyond YouTube. Just beyond. Thoughts on the disgusting negative ad ran on Bernie in Iowa? Which one? I actually saw one of the ads, and to tell you the truth, I didn't really think it was that effective. I'm not blaming you for the website. I'm saying you've been fixing it up. It's not your fault. I saw an ad in Iowa with a bunch of just like average Joes, men and women saying like, I just don't know if Bernie could win. I just don't think he could win. Like there was no actual like specifics about what's wrong with Bernie. They didn't play any video clips of like radical things he said. It was just like a bunch of like suburban moms and dads saying like, I just think he takes it too far. I just don't think he could beat Trump. Like, I don't really think that it was that effective, to be honest with you. That's just one ad I saw. I'm not in Iowa, so I'll be able to see a lot more ads tomorrow. I'll be able to see when I get there. But we'll be there. We'll be there. And again, it's not just that you need to sign up to be a member. We need you to join our text list. What's the sense of funding us to go there if you don't know when we're live? YouTube is not always going to notify you. I'll be lucky. We're lucky if they notify you 50% of the time at this point when we're live. So make sure to join our text list, 474747. Enter COUP. All right. Last couple of questions, comments, concerns, aspirations, hopes, dreams, fears. Can we get a couple more members? Statuscoup.com/join. Sign up. $5 a month. You could help fund the media revolution. Wait. For hat, did your... What? I don't even know what that person said. Do, 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 do. I guess they're not afraid to be transparent with the fearmonger. No, they're not. They are not afraid at all to be transparent. They are openly transparent in their fearmongering. Does this mean you want to be does that mean you want to be going to the Olympics for the 400 hurdles? Correct. I plan on participating in the Olympics. Is it the Summer Olympics this year? Hey, from the UK. Love you. Love you, love you, love you. Can I get a personal call if I donate $1,000? Cyril, if you donate $1,000, not only are you going to get a call, you're probably going to be screaming, Jordan, I got to go to work. Can I get off the phone with you? It's like my father. By the way, yes, if you donate $1,000, I'm calling you, and I will talk as long as you want to talk. But my father calls me at 8:30 in the morning. I'm asleep, okay? Calls me at 8:30 in the morning. What did you want to know? Oh, about the New York Times, that we got picked up in the New York Times. And I love my father. He's a deranged Trump supporter, and I love him. By the way, dating back to that $1,000, feel free, Jen, be so kind, drop in the PayPal link if that person wants to donate $1,000. So whatever, he praises me on the New York Times, picking up my interview with Nina Turner, and then he's like, what are you doing? I'm like, sleeping. So normally people would say, oh, sorry, go back to bed. Then he continues to go on and on about an issue he's having. I won't blow up his spot with the local city government on Long Island. And it's like, you're trying to get off the phone to go back to bed, but I can't. And then, I feel bad because, you never know. You just never know. I don't want to, rush my father off the phone and then later in the day, God forbid, something happens, and the last thing I would have is oh my God, I just hung up on my father. So I always try to pick up for my father or loved one, and you should too. You never know. As what happened with Kobe Bryant earlier this week, we just never know how long we have on this earth. So, anyway, going on a tangent. Henry, figuring I'm waiting to hear back from a hospital, and they call right after I shut the ringer off to call someone else. They're not here. They're not there now. I'm on hold with the hospital. Ooh, I hope you're all right, Henry. Who's Larry? Larry's my father, Larry Chariton, a deranged supporter of Donald Trump. What are you telling me to stop it? What did I do? All right. Let's see where we are before I sign off. We are at 800 and what is that, 890? Is that 890? No, sorry. 881 status Coup members. So here's the deal. I'm not going to give you my flight itinerary, but I fly pretty early. So I land in Iowa, I think tomorrow morning or something like that. I would like, when I land, I would love to be close to 900. I'd like to be close to 900. So we are at 881 status Coup members right now. So for those of you who want real reporting on the ground in Iowa, in New Hampshire, and beyond, you know the drill. $5 a month. And we're also going to make some bonus content, behind the scenes stuff in Iowa just for members. So if you can, if you can't, we understand. But if you got $5 a month, of course, you could sign up at higher amounts too. We got $10 a month, $20 a month, and $179 annually. But if you got the $5, contribute it to real in-the-field reporting. I mean, unless you want to leave it to CNN. If you want to leave it to CNN to inform the masses this election season, be my guest. So, thank you for watching. Sorry, a little bit shorter today, but I got to go pack and do some things before my flight. We will email you our whereabouts, and when we're going live, we will also send you texts. And buckle up, 5 days until the Iowa caucus. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for the super chats. Thank you for donating for our specific fundraiser. Jen will put it in the super chat one last time, where you could donate directly for our reporting for Iowa and New Hampshire. Ooh, another new member, Bob. Welcome.
Welcome back.
New Status Coup member. Oh, Robert. It showed up, Bob. Robert, 882. Wonderful, wonderful Status Coup members. So again, getting closer to that 900. Jordan, do you smoke the ganja? LOL. I smoke it if you give it to me and it's not laced with anything bad. Absolutely. Jordan, have a great trip. Thank you. And thank you to Jen. Thank you to Marcus, obviously, for his great work in Iowa. We look forward to seeing him back out there when he's feeling better. And I will see you guys from Iowa. Remember, join our email list. Join our text list. statuscoup.com to join our email list. All you got to do is go to our website. You'll see a little pop-up. Enter your email. We will not send you 100 emails. We will not beg you for money all the time. Some of the time we will. And we join our text list. Text 474747. Enter COUP. Enter COUP. See you in Iowa. Peace out.